Imagine standing on the shoulders of titans of business, some of the world's most successful and influential individuals, and be able to listen in on their content-rich conversations. Well, now you can. Prepare yourself for the direct, honest, no BS, in your face, uncensored, unfiltered, uncomfortable truth on how you can change your life and your business. Now, get ready, because Dan the Man Locke is in the house.
Can't get enough of Dan the Man Locke? Then check out his channel at danlocktv.com.
Are you investing your passion, money, and time in building a successful business? Do you realize that unless you trademark your brand, the risk of losing this valuable asset goes up significantly as your business becomes more successful? Would you like to know if your brand is trademarkable for free and with no strings attached? At searchmymark.com, you can fill out a form, and Trademark Factory Specialist will conduct a comprehensive trademark search and answer all your questions as they walk you through your trademarkability report over the phone. Trademark Factory is the only firm in the world where licensed lawyers and trademark agents will help you register your trademarks in Canada, United States, and European Union for a single, all-inclusive flat fee with a 100% money-back guarantee. Don't squander your brand. Order your free trademark search through searchmymark.com right now.
Do you want to get out of the rat race, quit your job, and live life on your terms? You've come to the right place. Your hosts, Robert McDonough and Michael Lau, are going to show you exactly how to not only make money online, but also to fire your boss. Now, fasten your seatbelts for the good, the bad, and the ugly truth on how you can do just that. Visit FUmoney.com for the FU Money Show with Robert McDonough and Michael Lau. That's FUmoney.com.
Well, hi, this is Eric Reynolds, and I am your co-host, and I'm here as always with Dan the Man Locke, the host of the Shoulders of Titans show. Welcome to the Shoulders of Titans, the world's #1 business podcast for entrepreneurs and high achievers. And our special guest today is Ziad Abdelnour, a Wall Street financier, author, philanthropist, activist, lobbyist, oil and gas trader, and president and CEO of Blackhawk Partners Incorporated. Today, Ziad is going to talk about money and how big money is actually made. He'll discuss his views on business, the U.S. and global economy, how to invest and create wealth, what you need to know in order to attract the mighty and the powerful, and how to protect the wealth once you have made it. He talks about his role models and the philosophy when it comes to creating wealth, the difference between rich and wealthy, and how 99% think versus the 1%. Now, before Ziad joins us, just as a reminder that if you have any questions or require any assistance, you can reach Ziad at www.blackhawkpartners.com. Now, Ziad Abdelnour holds an MBA in finance from the Wharton School of Business at the University of Pennsylvania and a Bachelor of Science in Economics from the American University of Beirut. His New York-based private equity family office focuses on originating, structuring, advising, and acting as equity investor in management-led buyouts, strategic minority equity investments, equity private placements, consultations, build-ups, and growth capital financing in companies and projects based both in the United States and emerging markets, and the trading of key physical commodities. He's the author of Economic Warfare, Secrets of Wealth Creation in the Age of Welfare Politics, and a prolific writer for 100-plus entrepreneurial and financial publications, advising and educating investors in private equity, hedge funds, crowdfunding, venture capital, and more. Ziad is also a regular speaker at industry conferences and TV outlets nationwide. He is a key influencer in his own right, having a hardcore constituency of over 2 million viewers, having read his blog postings and analyses since January 2014. Now, help me welcome to the show, Dan Locke.
Welcome to another episode of Shoulders of Titans. This is Dan Locke, and today I have the privilege of bringing you a true titan, an exceptional individual who is an international best-selling author, a Wall Street financier, a global deal maker, president and CEO of Blackhawk Partners, a New York-based private equity family office. Ziad, welcome to the show.
My pleasure, Dan.
Now, Zia, what I want to do is for this interview to talk about money and how big money is actually made, how to create wealth, and also how to protect the wealth once we've made it, and also maybe get your point of view on the global economy. But before we get into that, maybe take us back and tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into what you do today.
Well, number one, I come from a family of financiers and politicians and stuff like that. From my uncle to my father to a number of people in my family. So I grew naturally in this environment, you know. So for them and for everybody, for me, it was expected that I was going to be in finance. But I didn't do it because it was expected. I did it because I loved finance. Because at the end of the day, I realized that everything you want to do in life takes money to do. Even if you're fighting for the best causes, you need money for that. If you want to do politics, you need money for that. It's the cement, it's the glue that glues everything together. And so I didn't do it really for the love of money, but I did it for the love of making things happen. If you want to make things happen, you need to either have or raise lots of money to make things happen. If not, you're an observer. You can look from the outside world, observe, write, discuss, but you really cannot do it. You're an observer. And you know what? And there are two types of people in this world. You have the players and you have the observers. The players are actively involved in the trenches at war. They make things happen. And usually they either have a lot of money or they have access to a lot of money backing them for them to do for them to accomplish their dreams. So this is what made me do that. And you know what? I had a lot of things in my mind. I'm a pretty ambitious guy, I can say. And then I realized the glue for all is money. So I need to acquire that first to build what I need to build to be able to do the things that I want to do. But also at the same time, I don't want to elaborate too much on that, but I think it's important to know, money for me is not about how many cars, planes, houses you're going to have. No, no, no. Money is about freedom. Is about freedom. When you have enough money, you're free. You're not going to take crap from anyone anymore, you know, because you are insulated. You have enough money to do what you want to do, to organize the armies you want, to go and fight for the causes you want, and to execute flawlessly if you have a first-class group of people ready, willing, and able to work with you.
Now, Ziad, I also know that, you know, for listeners, it may be thinking, well, that's easy for you to say, Ziad, you came from a family with money, but I know it's not like that. At a young age, I know your story, you fell in love, and, you know, you kind of have to build the whole thing on your own.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I came from money, but I never saw a dollar from my family because I came to the United States under undue circumstances where I had to fight for everything. Yeah, the story is known in my book.
Yes.
You know, I fell in love, and we had some disagreement with the family as to the marriage because I was too young. I came to the States. We eloped. They didn't help me in any way, shape, or form. You know, and I decided to start from scratch in the United States without any support. And that's what I did. So listen, I've been poor, I've been rich, I've seen it all. I know how the 99% of the people think, and I know how the 1% of the people think and behave. You know, like they say, and I learned something at the end of the day. You know, is that eat with the classes and feed the masses.
Eat with the, okay. Expand on that a little bit.
Eat with the class. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I realized, I mean, in order to get the attraction, in order to attract the mighty and the powerful, very few people know how to do it because they have not been there. And also, in order to attract the poor and the middle class, also very few people can do it. So they come across very arrogant or very condescending or very ruthless, etc. At the end of the day, I learned something. Be very arrogant with the mighty and the powerful, and be very nice and very down to earth with everybody else. The problem in this world is that it's the reverse. People suck up to the mighty and the powerful and are very arrogant with everybody else. It doesn't work this way. The mighty and the powerful, they worked very hard to get there. So you have to earn their respect. You don't usually earn their respect by being a yes man, but by showing them that you have pretty much the same DNA than them, and that you're not going to take their crap. And once they respect you, you get their business.
That's profound. That's profound. So with the poor and the middle class, so would you say with like for any entrepreneur, because of course you work with a lot of ultra affluent individuals. For entrepreneurs, what do you recommend an entrepreneur to expand? Like how would they establish those relationships and expand the network?
Well, number one, I'm amazed by how many smart entrepreneurs are very awkward in approaching people with money. Very awkward. Sorry, hold on one second. I want to have somebody pick up the phone here. Could you please pick up the phone? I'm sorry for this. Okay, so I'm sorry, Dan, but the phone keeps ringing here all the time. So.
No problem. No problem.
All right. So to answer your question, how should entrepreneurs approach? I'm sorry, would you repeat that question?
To establish relationships with powerful, ultra affluent individuals, and also how do they expand the network?
Well, look, my philosophy is very simple. I never use a push strategy. I always use a pull strategy. I never go asking for deals, asking for money, asking for anything. I just do apply what I do very well, and I pull people like a magnet in my direction. And I know how to do it through social media, through events, through word of mouth. That's how you really build your brand. By pulling people towards you, by writing books, by writing blogs, by speaking to events. For example, when people invite me to come and attend some event, I tell them, you know what? I'm not attending any event as an observer. Either I'm the keynote speaker or forget about it.
I get it. I share the same philosophy because if you go to an event, you're just one of the attendees.
You remember what I said before, observer versus player.
Exactly.
You will always be in the shoes of the player.
Yes.
I mean, that's one example. A lot of entrepreneurs still don't know this. They think by pushing, being super aggressive on a business that has no revenues, that has no revenue model, that has nothing, they're going to get it done.
Yes.
So they think that by sending 500 books to people, their chances of getting funded is higher. I tell them, listen, you're not the post office here.
Yes. Good for the postal office, though. That's a good business right there.
Exactly. But you're not the postal office here, It's not by sending more books that you're going to get your deal funded. So, I mean, look, I can talk for hours about this, but to make a long story short, it's really a pull strategy. You have to know what your strengths are. People will tell you in general, you have to know your weaknesses so that you can improve your weaknesses. No. You have to know what your strengths really are. A lot of people don't really know their strength.
Yes.
They either overestimate or underestimate their strength. Once you know your strengths, forget about your weaknesses. Once you know your three top key strengths are, you really have to go full blast after that.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, there are some things in your DNA and some things you acquire strength-wise. So it's not like you're born with all the qualities, or you're born with some, you acquire others depending on your environment, depending on how you grew up, and stuff like that. So
Well, see, and I have a saying. I think you enjoy this. I say that if you spend your time, your life working on your weaknesses, at the end of your life, you have a lot of strong weaknesses.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely right. So, I mean, look, there are a lot of things we can talk about here, depending on the length of this interview.
Yes.
But I think that you get the message.
Yes. Well, maybe share with us a little bit, if you could, like with information, some of the maybe most successful deals that you've done. I know you've been involved with over 120 plus transactions. And what have you learned from those deals?
Well, I learned from those deals that number one, what kills deals is the ego, people's ego. Whether you're a buyer or a seller, whether you are an entrepreneur or a financier, people's ego. Ego comes in the way a lot of times. And this is what kills transaction. And the smartest people are people who can swallow their ego without, losing respect and get things done. I also learned one of my weaknesses is that I trusted people too much. You cannot trust people too much. You have to be very careful and you have to test the people. Like they say, love all, trust a few, do wrong to none.
Yes.
You can break trust for a good reason, but it still remains broken.
Yes.
And the other things really I learned is, in business, never lower your standards. Sometimes you will work with people who don't care as much about their work as you do. This is not an excuse to start doing a worse job. If anything, really, it's a good reason to redouble your efforts. So, I think these three things are very important. And I learned this the hard way. It cost me money, it cost me deals, but you know what? I don't do these mistakes anymore.
And it's also, I can imagine, or in New York, you probably just trust nobody. So
yeah. Exactly what Reagan used to say: trust, verify.
Yes, trust and verify. And also, Ziad, you have a very interesting definition between like rich and wealthy. What's the difference between the two?
I'm gonna make it very simple for you. I'm gonna give you an example. Being rich is, Dan, let's go and spend a week in the Bahamas. Being wealthy is, let's go and spend a week in the Bahamas right now, in half an hour.
Oh, yes. So it has to do with choices and freedom.
It's choice, but it's time. The most important commodity, the most important thing in law is time. The wealthy people are totally in control of their time. Rich people, they have the money, but they're still not in control of their time. Time is the most precious commodity you have, because once it's lost, it's gone, you cannot get it back. Money, you can lose $100 million and make it again. So it's really, what I advise people is to use their time very wisely to build their brand and learn how to leverage their activities. I'll tell you the difference between entrepreneur and a business. A lot of people still confuse this. Your business should be able to run with or without you. If you cannot build a scalable business with a great support network around you, you will never be wealthy. Always remember, Dan, the richest people in the world look for and build networks. Everyone else looks for work.
Yes. So, and we're in this case, we're talking relationships, we're talking platform, we're talking, like you talk about personal brand.
Yeah.
So with wealthy, well, let's talk about wealth. Let's talk about what's the philosophy when it comes to creating wealth.
Well, the philosophy, I'll tell you, the major driving force for me to create wealth, to acquire wealth, is freedom. I'm an extremely independent guy. I'm free-spirited. I'm like I cannot be, I cannot be controlled, honestly, and in a good way, I cannot be controlled. I'm free-spirited. I'm very opinionated, and to be able to do all these things and afford to do all these things and to say what I want, like I said in the book. I'll tell you, any guy on Wall Street who writes what I wrote in Economic Warfare would be fired from his job the next day.
Yes, it's a very, so I just tell our listeners, first of all, definitely go get the book and read the book. It's very, very blunt.
Very blunt. I mean, you can, because this is not PPC. It's not politically correct at all.
Yes.
It's not politically correct at all.
Yes.
And in order not to be politically correct, Dan, you have to have a cushion. You have to have money to be able to say these things. Because most probably no one is going to hire you.
Yes. But it's the truth. What you said in the book is truth.
Of course it's the truth. And that's the most important thing. I'm absolutely a seeker of the truth. Because the truth, basically, you can take the best decisions you can take. Look, as I said it a number of times in my book and during interviews, business for me is war. It's not a hobby. People go to business, what do I do? Oh, I do this from 9 to 5. Blah, blah. No. I don't have a job, I have a career. This is not a hobby, this is war. War, the art of war, Sun Tzu.
Yes.
Absolutely. Economic warfare is the 21st century of Sun Tzu version. Basically, business is war. Now, to be able to win wars, the most important element you need is not brains nor bronze. You can be the smartest guy in the world. Doesn't mean that you're going to be the wealthiest guy. It doesn't mean that you're going to win in business, because in most instances, if you're really smart, your ego is too big. I remember the issue we had before when I told you, it's ego.
Yes.
So, so it's not brains and it's not bronze. Not necessarily the people with the most money win. Because sometimes they take very quick decisions, and in general, their ego is too big also.
Yes.
So this is what a lot of people don't realize this, and you don't see this stuff written anywhere. What's really the most important out there is to gather intelligence, second to none. Give you an example. The Iraq War. If we had the proper intel, we would have saved $3 trillion in the United States and saved 5,000 lives. We went to war after Iraq and other countries based on the wrong intel. And the same thing applies in business. If you have the wrong intel, you're going to make the wrong decision.
Yes.
And sometimes your ego may cloud your judgment because you or your advisors, not having the right intel, are taking a decision that's absolutely crazy, and you guys think that you're right. So I always try to gather real intel. And the problem with entrepreneurs, when they come backing, they haven't really gathered any intel on their companies, on their competition. When you ask about the competition, the typical answer, there's no competition.
That's like the worst answer.
You know what I mean? It's like, exactly. Or you know what, there was little irrelevant.
Yes.
This is the ego playing here.
Yes.
Remember,
yes.
When they say that. Little irrelevant. Well, you know what? Basically, they cut and paste, and then they give you a nice, slick plan as to this is it. I want $5 million to do this, to build this and that. I tell them, listen, all the information you have in this business plan, there's nothing new. There's nothing earth-shattering, and there's nothing I've learned here. You're really able to convince me, you have to show me information that I don't have.
Yes.
I have access to a lot of intelligence.
Yes.
And you have to show me something that I don't know. And I don't care how much you need, whether you need 5 million or 500 million. But you have to show me what is going to be so critical to really build and scale the business to literally crush the competition. Yes, crush it. I like these terms. I like the killer entrepreneurs. I don't like entrepreneurs who mince their word and who cannot even say the word crush. John D. Rockefeller, my biggest idol, used to say, I don't meet competition, I crush it.
Yes.
I wish we had more people today. There are a few who would say that. Today, it's not politically correct to say that. It's not politically correct to say that you're a capitalist, that you're a wealth creator, that you would crush the competition, because this is like the old saying, like, the old robber barons
Yes.
who actually built this country.
Yes.
This country was built on these principles. So, and this is what I talk also in my book, Dan, as you can notice, about
Yes.
capitalism, wealth creation, all kind of stuff. So you know what? It's so all you have to be in the right mindset. You have to go back to history, see how this country was built, see how the fortunes were built, see how empires were made. Today, it's like, technology is the hottest thing, so I'm going to write a small business plan, go to some stupid VC who's going to fund me like that.
Yes.
I'll tell you the thing is that most of the entrepreneurs, for me, Dan, are lifestyle entrepreneurs. I'll explain. Lifestyle entrepreneurs are entrepreneurs who need a certain dollar amount a year to survive, like let's say $250,000 or $500,000 for them and their family, especially depending on where they live. If they live in New York City or Silicon Valley or in Utah. So they're looking for somebody who's going to basically, and they usually invest very little of their own money in the company, so they have no skin in the game because they don't have any money.
Yes.
And they haven't made anything, so it's just an idea.
Yes. Which they think it's very unique when it's not unique.
Which they think it's the best idea ever. And regarding ideas, by the way, when they approach me with an idea, I tell them, listen, if your idea is not dangerous, it's not worth being called an idea. They tell me, what do you mean? I tell them, if you don't know what this means, you should not be an entrepreneur.
I love it.
Simply, you should not be an entrepreneur. If you know what a dangerous idea is, what are you doing? Go and find yourself a job. Honestly, this is the reality. So anyway, to come back to the point, lifestyle entrepreneurs. So they're looking for somebody to fund them for 5 years, $500,000 a year. That's $2.5 million startup seed round. And they don't have no skin in the game, and they have no track record. They have nothing but an attitude. And then if they get funded, and if it doesn't work, they come and tell you, oops, sorry, I thought a thing. Well, it doesn't work like this. There are 5 criteria I follow when I back a company. I want to share this with you.
Please.
If we have some time.
Absolutely.
Okay. There are 5 criteria I follow when I back a company. And this is what I look for. I receive these reams of pages on business plans. I only focus on these 5 things. So it takes me like 5 minutes to determine if this is a deal worth pursuing or not. Number 1, I only back people who are operators with a track record.
Okay.
They've either bought a business, sold a business, operated a business, etc. All these promoters, lawyers, bankers turned, no. Frankly, if I have to back somebody who went to Harvard Business School and was a top guy at IBM versus somebody who went bankrupt 3 times, I will always back the one who went bankrupt 3 times. Why? Because this guy is very hungry.
Yes.
Very humbled. He learned from his mistakes, and he wants to prove to the world for the last time that he can make it big time. While the other is an egotistical, arrogant prima donna.
Yes.
Who thinks he's entitled to this and that. He is entitled to that many options and that much equity.
Yes.
This is not my kind of guy.
Okay.
So number 1, they have to be operators. 2, as I said before, business is war. The most important ingredient is intel. Somebody who can show me in his plan, and when fleshing his value proposition, that he has gathered intel that very few people have as to how he's going to literally crush the competition. If you cannot prove this to me, you have no real compelling value proposition. You're like any other guy out there. There's nothing special about your business. 3, laser-like focus. When you acquire the intel, you remember how we used to, in the Iraq War, have the stealth bomber aim for a target and shoot. When you have acquired the intel, you know exactly where the Achilles heel is. You can have all the firepower, which is all the money you want, to go and execute on that. Most entrepreneurs will tell you the what, why, when, where, but they don't tell you how they're going to execute. And that's the most critical part. And they can't, they tell you how, they tell you, oh, you know what, I'm going to go and buy ads and do this and that. That's not how you execute. When you execute in a business, you know, I use a military approach, you know, and as you can see, Blackhawk, business is war. I'm very much like this, and I have tremendous respect for the military and the way they operate.
Yes.
Is, you know, so when you're in business, yeah, I go and tell these guys, look, consider yourself General Schwarzkopf going to war.
Yes.
With your ammunitions, your army, your infantry, your planes, your this. How are you going to do that to win the war? What kind of intelligence you've gathered to win the war, which is your company? They look at me with round eyes. What is this guy talking about? Well, I look at them, I said, you know what? You have no clue. You have no clue where you're going. This is a very cruel world out there. If you don't have this attitude of a killer who has done his homework and who has mobilized the right armies and people around him to execute ruthlessly and flawlessly, you're going to be toast. And you're going to come back to me, oops, sorry, you lost all your money.
Yes.
Four, it's how fast you can scale your business. When people tell me and show me business plans, stupid business plans, with the company still is, I see the projection, the company is still going to lose money for the next 2 or 3 years. You know, and in some instances worse than that, they've already lost, let's say, $5, $10, $50 million, and they're going to still lose to $15 million over the next 3 years, and they still need $15, $20 million. So I tell them, look, this is and you know, and in order to cover this, oh, you know what, but there's this prominent firm that invested before. What does this mean? What does this mean? If this idiot invested before, and let's assume his name is Goldman Sachs, meaning that I'm going to invest because Goldman Sachs invested and lost their shirt? I mean, people are so influenced by these brands, which is crap. Anyway, to go back to that, so I tell them, this is the question I ask them then. Listen, assuming you have access to all the money in the world, I can write you a check for whatever you want. What would it take you to be profitable 6 months after I fund you? Only question. 6 months. 99% of them, Dan, will tell me it's impossible. I cannot be profitable. So my answer to them, so you're not a businessman. You may be very smart, you're a technologist, you're a scientist. I'm telling you, with all the money in the world, you still cannot be profitable 6 months after I fund you. We have a problem here, Houston.
So then it's not a money problem, it's a business model problem.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's what most entrepreneurs, because they don't have a background in, you know, most entrepreneurs look at the idea. Is it a sexy idea? No. When they go to people with money, to the capitalist for money, they have to think like them. We look at the bottom line. We look at the profitability. How fast can we scale this? You know, this is why I never invest honestly into life sciences and biotech, because the path to profitability is way too long. 7 years, 10 years. I don't invest in that. I have no patience for that. And also, you know, sometimes you don't need to grow only organically. You can grow through acquisitions, roll-ups, as long as you can really show profitability. Profitability is the name of the game. We're here to back businesses that can become very profitable, very scalable. You know what? I mean, I'll tell you what, and this is the problem we have today. 80% of the companies that are doing the IPO today are not profitable.
Yes.
And you have, I don't know how many companies in Silicon Valley, all these unicorns, like 70 of them, that are valued at $1 billion each.
Yes.
And that have no revenues. This is insanity. And when they show me these like this, oh, you don't understand. No, you don't understand. You have lost all concept about value creation. This is all crap. This is all gonna come to tumble. Mark my words. I tell them, listen, buddy, I survived the 87 crash, the 1990 Drexel bankruptcy, the real estate crash, the real estate adjustment, the 2008 crisis, every crisis is 87. And I'm still thriving. Now, you're going to teach me how to survive or how to make money?
I see. So, see, what you're saying is that, would you say you're more, so what are like some tech company entrepreneurs that come to you and say, yeah, here's our burn rate, we don't know when we're gonna make a profit, but hopefully when we get to the market, we're gonna do an IPO, and then we'll make a whole bunch of money. So you don't like that type of business?
No, I don't like. Okay, and then there's a fifth point. I will ask you this question, but there's a fifth point also.
Yes.
Okay, it's skin in the game. Anybody who doesn't have skin in the game, cash, not sweat equity crap,
yes,
cash of his own in the deal, I will never back him. At the end, so they come and tell you, oh, but I don't have the money. Well, if you don't have the money, go and do something to make money so that you can do that.
Yes.
Look, at the end of the day, you can lose $100 million. If you lose $100 million, if you make and lose $100 million, you can make them again. If you never made this kind of money, or even close to that,
yes,
you're not going to make it on my watch. Very unlikely.
Yes.
So this is why I don't mind people who made it big time and lost it and went bankrupt, because they learned. Skin in the game is very important. So if I want to recap, no matter what the industry, no matter what the geography, I look for 5 criteria. Operators with skin in the game, who can turn a business into profits very quickly, who are laser-like focused, and who have access to intel that very few people have. It doesn't matter if you focus on that, the industry, the technology, the geography. And you know what? There are a lot of entrepreneurs like this, not necessarily in the United States. Silicon Valley is not the center of the world. This arrogance that the Silicon Valley guys have, that they are it, they are not it. There are lots of centers that are rising around the world, in China, in India, in all over the place, in the Middle East, in Dubai, with lots of very smart entrepreneurs who went also to Ivy League colleges, who also are very entrepreneurial, who have skin in the game, who know how to scale a business, etc. This is not 1999. Some of the guys show me plans, they think they're going to get away with it like they got away with it in 1999 before the internet, or while we're doing the internet crash. There is no more dumb money. Why? Because dumb money is all lost. They lost it. Today, people who are still in business are people who have learned from their mistakes, and they're not going to fall for this crap. And you have these arrogant guys who go out of business school today. They also say because they went to Harvard Business School or Wharton or Stanford, they think they know it all. They're 25 years old. They know crap. They have a huge attitude, and just because they have an idea that's not even dangerous, not even skin in the game, not even track record, not even nothing, and they think they're going to get funding and become a Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates are exceptions.
Yes.
They're not the norm.
Yes. There are only a few of them in the world.
Exactly. Yeah. Look, I'm a very pragmatic guy, and I stuck to this philosophy since I've been in the business for 25 years. I don't change. This is how you build real businesses, value-added business. At the end of the day, this is the value creation process. You can't fool people and tell them you have great things. And no, you have to be able to execute. You have to show a track record. You have to have money at risk. Because I tell you what, at the end of the day, I tell those entrepreneurs, Dan, it's not me who's not going to sleep at night. It's you who's not going to sleep at night.
Yes.
I don't want them to come, oh, oops, we lost all the money, sorry. I don't need a sorry. You know what? I don't need a sorry. I need you to be accountable to what you do. Now, if you can execute this on this, and you have the wherewithal, and you have the skin in the game, you know what? When people have skin in the game, to come back to that point, they're going to make damn sure to make it work. Because if not, they're going to lose most of their net worth. And I want most of their net worth that's tied up to the transaction. If you do well, you're going to become a billionaire. If you don't do well, you're finished. Next.
It's a little bit like the military, the war philosophy that you want to take the island, you got to burn the freaking boat. You got to burn, like the Chinese philosophy that you burn the ship, that you either win or you die.
Exactly. You know what? Exactly right. You totally get it then. And I follow like this. It's a very militaristic. It's very analytical. It's very disciplined. It's very focused. But it works. And now also, you have to value these words. Commitment, integrity, honor. Today it's like people talk and bullshit and do all this stuff. It's not serious anymore. And they think they're going to get away with it because some idiot is going to believe them, their pizzazz. They're going to dazzle them with how smart they are. They come and dazzle me with how the technology is. But listen to me, I don't invest in it. So people tell me, Ziad, what kind of companies do you invest in? What kind of industries? I don't invest in companies or industries or themes or anything. I invest in people.
Yes.
It's all about people. And I ask them the very tough questions to know who they really are. A lot of people wear masks and tell you, oh, I'm like this, I'm like that. Unless you ask him the right question, you will see he will divulge, sometimes by knowing it and not knowing it, who he really is. I need to know what's in his belly. How much fire is there in his belly? For example, there's a guy, I forgot, he came and told me, I was asking him a question, I don't remember what, he told me, I know it all. I told him, that's exactly the problem, is that you know it all. Even if you know it all, you never say these things. You are an idiot.
That's awesome. It's so blunt, and I love it. I love it.
And you know what? Then when look, I mean, when you win a war, I don't win it graciously. When a guy says like this, I like to make him feel very bad so that he learns.
Yes.
And people don't do that. Oh, if I do that, it's not nice, it's rude. No, it's not rude. That's how he's going to learn. It's like today, in grammar school, it's the age of Obama, the age of equality. We're all born equal. We have to feed with each other. No. Number one, we're not born equal. Some people are born smarter. Some people are born not. And there's nothing wrong with it. And we're never going to be equal, and we're not going to die equal. And people aren't equal. And income equality doesn't going to happen. And smart equality is not going to happen. Just get used to it. Not everybody can drive a Rolls Royce, live on Fifth Avenue, or drive a Ferrari and go to Harvard. That's the reality. That's a fact. That's life.
Yes, that's correct.
You know what? And in school today, they do a project, a contest. Some students win. They win the prize. The others. So the others, as a consolation, they give them gift also, so that they feel good. No, they should not feel good. They should feel stupid, because I'll tell you what. Once they feel stupid, you're gonna have this thing coming in there. They're gonna start to think. You know what? Next time I have to do much better. You learn from your mistakes. You don't learn from your successes.
Correct.
You learn from your failures. So let them feel crappy a bit. There's nothing wrong with that. They may emerge there much stronger. You're going to see the monster growing in them that's going to be pissed off because they were treated like this, and they're going to succeed even more. You have to arouse this. There's nothing wrong in this. Everybody today has to feel, don't offend me. I mean, they're offended by the most minute things. Like the other guy, I'm a Christian Catholic. I was telling somebody else, a friend, Merry Christmas. He looked at me like if I committed a crime. I told him, listen, I celebrate Christmas. It is Christmas. You don't like it? Sue me. Sue me for wishing him Merry Christmas.
But also, wouldn't you say now there's now the people talking about like what's very hot? It's like social entrepreneurship, talking about they want to make an impact in the world. But sometimes what I notice, a lot of these so-called social entrepreneurs, they like you said, the lifestyle entrepreneurs. Sometimes I call them the tree huggers. they hug trees and they focus. They focus. Oh yeah, it's people, it's a planet. But we also need the profit in order to do that.
Forget. You know what? Forget about people on the planet. Number one, if they want to change the world, they have to change themselves.
Yes.
Number one, if they want to. Number two, if they want to change their world, they're gonna have to be able to have the means to do that. That's why when I started the interview, I told you, money is the glue. Most of them have no education, no means, no discipline, no vision, just some nice idea. And they think by these nice ideas, they're going to tweet a couple of ideas, and they're going to have a huge impact on the world. Who gives a damn about them? For a lot of people, these guys don't even exist. They're not even a pimple.
It's true. It's true. I almost see them, a lot of these, I don't know, social entrepreneurs, they use this almost as an excuse to be in their own little world. They don't have to face the cruel world of business.
Yeah. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And they don't have really anything to offer. And this is why they always look for equality.
Yes.
Oh, we're all equal. We all think you have to be. I don't have to be nothing. I am who I am. You either accept me or not. If you don't accept me, fine. Live and let live. There are 7 billion people in this world. Go and talk to them. I don't try to change people. I learned this a long time ago. I do what I do. I do it very, very well. Either I become a role model and I pull people in my direction, and we all form an army of thinkers, of doers, of players, or we don't. And if the guys don't fit, they don't fit. Next. There's 7 billion people in the world.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
Well, let's go ahead and take a break here, and we'll be right back after this short break with Dan and Ziad.
More of the Shoulders of Titans podcast with Dan Lok after this.
Can't get enough of Dan the Man Lok? Then check out his channel at danlocktv.com.
Are you investing your passion, money, and time in building a successful business? Do you realize that unless you trademark your brand, the risk of losing this valuable asset goes up significantly as your business becomes more successful? Would you like to know if your brand is trademarkable for free and with no strings attached? At searchmymark.com, you can fill out a form, and Trademark Factory Specialist will conduct a comprehensive trademark search and answer all your questions as they walk you through your trademarkability report over the phone. Trademark Factory is the only firm in the world where licensed lawyers and trademark agents will help you register your trademarks in Canada, United States, and European Union for a single, all-inclusive flat fee with a 100% money-back guarantee. Don't squander your brand. Order your free trademark search through searchmymark.com right now.
Do you want to get out of the rat race, quit your job, and live life on your terms? You've come to the right place. Your hosts, Robert McDonough and Michael Lau, are going to show you exactly how to not only make money online, but also to fire your boss. Now, fasten your seatbelts for the good, the bad, and the ugly truth on how you can do just that. Visit FUmoney.com for the FU Money Show with Robert McDonough and Michael Lau. That's FUmoney.com.
Would you like to double or triple the sales in your business online with the one profitable online sales funnel? ProfitableFunnels.com can implement a highly profitable online sales funnel into your business that will take your business to the next level. We even take care of your copy, emails, marketing, and your own custom profitable online marketing campaigns. And you get access to a team of result-driven funnel experts. If you want a complete, done-for-your solution to increase your sales, customers, and profits, then this is it. Go to ProfitableFunnels.com now and apply to have us map out and implement your highly profitable online sales funnel now. That's ProfitableFunnels.com.
Now back to the Shoulders of Titans podcast with Dan the Man Lok.
Well, thanks for hanging in there with us. We're back now with Dan and Ziad. Dan, go ahead and take it away.
Zia, who are some of your role models, or do you have any mentors that you look up to in your career?
Yeah, I have a few, I would say, heroes and role models. Basically, spanning the business world, the political world, the humanitarian, all over. I would say in the humanitarian, let's start with that. Guys like Nelson Mandela.
Yes.
And Gandhi.
Yes.
In the political world, JFK and Ronald Reagan.
Yes.
In the business world, Michael Milken, who was my former boss at Drexel Burnham, and Donald Trump.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Trump, since it's now kind of the hot topic, running for president. What's your view on Trump?
Well, what's my view on Trump? Trump is not a politician. He's a doer. He gets things done. He's not politically correct. Frankly, I relate to a lot of things with him. He also went to the Wharton School. He's a New Yorker. He's a patriot to the core. He loves his country.
Yes.
He's not the most eloquent guy out there. Who cares? But he gets things done. That's for sure.
That's true.
And that's what we need. We need somebody who loves his country. He does. Who gets things done. He does. Look, you really look at somebody by the way he raised his family. Look at how his kids, very accomplished.
Yes.
This is a solid guy. He's a maverick, yes. He's controversial, yes. But this is what makes him different. I don't want a normal guy. In abnormal times, you cannot have a normal guy running this country. And who else is the alternative? Who? I mean, there's not Jeb Bush. Please, I'm sick and tired of the Bush, Clinton, Bush, Clinton, Clinton, Bush for the last 30 years. It's a dynasty. It's becoming a dynasty.
Yes.
This country is turning like a banana republic.
It's true. It is true.
Clinton and Bush. Who do you want, Clinton or Bush or Clinton? Enough of this crap. So, I mean, there's not, and you know what? It's good because once you have an outside establishment guy like Trump who comes to power, this is going to open up a lot of roads and inspire a lot of people who are very successful in finance and business to one day, and these are really smart people, to one day use the political arena. We need people in politics who are really accomplished, really smart, business and others, to really use that. And they never used before, because the smart people usually are not in the political arena, they're in business.
Yes.
We want them more in politics, and less lawyers and bullshit artists in politics.
What's your view on now, let's say, the U.S. economy or the global economy?
We are headed towards a disaster, a meltdown. I am not Mr. Doom and Gloom, but look at the numbers. They speak by themselves. First, we haven't learned anything from the crisis of 2008. Nothing. Second, a lot of the people who created the crisis are not in jail. Most of them are still in power. They moved from one job to another. Third, the balance sheet of the Fed went from 2.1 trillion in 95 to 21 trillion to today.
Yes.
Fourth, the derivatives market, which is a huge risk, systemic risk and other, went from 187 billion to today around 300 billion. More risk than ever. Fourth, we have $20 trillion in debt. Five, the unemployment rate, the effective unemployment rate today is really not 5%, all the scrap is around 25 to 30%.
Wow.
Yes, all these are facts, these are numbers. So the only thing that's working is the stock market, but not for long. So people say, oh, look at the stock market is doing great, so everything's great. The stock market is not a reflection of the economy. The stock market is high because of a lot of stock buybacks, M&A, stuff like that. People borrowing to buy back their stocks. It's all artificial, it's all rigged. And the Fed is the head of the snake, is the biggest evil of all. Because they are totally out of control. QE1, QE2, QE3, QE4, printing money nonstop like if there is no tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And every Fed chair is doing that to keep the president in power.
Yes.
So I mean, this is the reality, and I talk about it very much at length in my book, which you read, Dan.
Yes. Almost half a book. It's a lot of numbers and facts.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
that's what I love about it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm when you know me by now, I'm very disciplined. I back everything with numbers and facts and everything. I'm not just saying this, shooting by the hip here.
Mm-hmm.
So the economy is very, very bad. It doesn't mean, however, that you cannot make money in an economy like this. Of course you can.
So what should we do as an entrepreneur?
As a matter of fact, usually you make really obscene money when there's bloodbath on the streets.
Yes.
You make obscene money when there's a huge dislocation of the markets. You don't make a lot of money when everything is hanky-panky and the stock market is going about 5%, 10%, 12%. That's not money. Money is when you make 2x, 5x, and 10x. So look, there is a lot of things you can do, not only buying gold and precious metals. Yeah, it's not much here, but really you're gonna be allowed to do in the distressed area. We do a lot of event-driven investing. We make money when the market goes up or goes down. Doesn't matter. We don't really follow the market here. We basically look at the pressure points in some asset classes that went a bit out of whack, and we make big bets on that. I see also there is going to be a couple of black swans shaping up in the near future given the geopolitical situation. Once you start having the geopolitics coming into the economy, then you're going to expect, and you should expect, lots of trouble. Because now we have reached a point where geopolitics, ISIS, terrorism is affecting the global economy.
Yes.
Just the events in France, Dan, in Paris last week, they lost around 1 billion euros just because of the disruption. I mean, think about it. God forbids if this wave of terrorism hits our shores in the United States, God forbids, in New York City or other places, Washington, D.C. Well, you know what? You're going to have a tremendous hit to the real estate market that has remained in New York, especially in the, in the high-priced areas, very solid.
Yes.
So, I mean, when geopolitics hits the road, so you're going to have to really factor this. This is going to be ugly. It's going to be very ugly for a couple of reasons. Number one, the Fed is getting very cornered. Number two, the geopolitics. Number three, the real state of the economy. So you know what? All the stars are unfortunately lining up for a black swan or a disaster scenario. So how long can you I mean, the Fed has all the power. They've been pretty much under control so far, but you know what? How far can you go? There is always an end.
Yes.
To everything, there's a beginning and an end. Nothing is limitless. Nothing can keep going forever, especially when things are not working. And I am flabbergasted by how people can be so naive sometimes to think that this circus is going to go forever. It's a circus. What we have is a casino here, is a big casino. And you know what? On the US dollars, you have this sign that says, "In God we trust." I think it should change to "In debt we trust."
Would you say this time when the disaster comes, it will even be bigger?
It will be much bigger because of the size of the derivatives market I told you about. It's $373 billion right now. Because of the balance sheet, because of the debt we have, it's much bigger. Every time we postpone it and nothing happens, it's become bigger. This is going to be much bigger than the crisis of 2008. 2008 is going to look like a walk in the park. And
Wow.
believe me, this is not wishful thinking at all. I'm a capitalist. I want the best for this country. I'm not Mr. Doom and Gloom. I don't talk about this stuff. But you know what? I read facts. These are the facts. They're very well hidden by the government. They don't want people to know these things. So everything is fudged is rigged, is hidden, is manipulated. And most of the people don't even realize this, because most of the Americans, they want one thing only. They want to be entertained. Keep me entertained. I don't need to know shit.
Yes.
Just keep me entertained.
Yes.
Keep me entertained with The Voice and the Dog and Pony Show and the dance shows.
Yes. What's going on with Kim Kardashian, right?
And the Kardashian and the baseball games. Keep me entertained. I don't care what happens. There's only 1%, the ruling elite in Washington, New York, who know what the hell is happening and who made all the arrangements in case this happens.
Yes.
But this is the reality. This is the reality. So we keep, unfortunately, we are in a state of denial. We're denying it. Well, it's going to have to happen. And the poor and middle class should be even more concerned than the rich, and they are less concerned. Because the rich, if they lose some, they have a buffer, they can afford to lose some money. Mm-hmm. They can afford to pay some more taxes. The rest, they cannot.
So what are the 3 or 4 maybe action steps that we could take? Like you said, you kind of mentioned, should we put our money in precious metals? Should we take our money offshore? Like, what are some of the steps you would recommend?
Well, there are a lot of things you can do, but number one, you're going to have to start doing your due diligence, your own, on anything you buy, you sell, you invest into.
Okay.
A lot of people don't do their due diligence. They just follow the crowd. Warren Buffett said this is the Oracle of Omaha. This guy is God. He should be right. Or Goldman Sachs issued this report. They should be right. It's all crap. Everybody has an agenda. So number one, you have to know what you're doing. Don't ever invest in something you don't know, something you're not aware of, something you haven't done due diligence on. And not because there is this or that guy or group who invested, it means it's good. Number two, you have really to develop, other than reading the press and the TV, this is all manipulated. This is for the masses. You have to develop your own reliable places where you get information. What you do, I think gold and precious metals is a good place to be, but it's going to take some time to recover.
Yes.
We are actually in a deflationary period right now. All the commodities are down. Everything is down.
Yes.
Except for the stock market I told you about again.
Yes.
But it's not going to last. When 80% of the companies doing IPO are not profitable, it shows you this is not earnings. It's not earnings. It's buybacks, stock buybacks. It's not earnings. So it's not like, the economy is doing so good. How can we have a 2% growth and have the stock market zooming like that? Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't add up. So, some basic things people are overlooking. Basic things. So, I'll put some in precious metals. I will, put some in rural agricultural land outside the big cities. You never know the scenario, what would happen here and there. I'm telling you, if it's hit, if the big cities are hit, a lot of the other places outside, far outside, are going to take value because a lot of people are going to migrate. You may see a lot of people leaving the big cities in 5-10 years. Frankly, they're not leaving it. It's not because the price is going up as usual, it's too expensive, but because the price is going down.
That's right. That's right.
Lost value. It's the reverse.
Yes. Yes.
It's amazing, but it's true. But look, everything is possible. Don't discount anything. Don't discount anything. Look at what's happening in Israel. Every 2 days you have a bus exploding somewhere. Can you imagine, God forbid, if this happens in New York, Washington, D.C.?
Yes. Wow.
This is where all the wealth is and everything is. Can you imagine? But you know what? You can never discount this. No matter how we have best police, best intelligence in the world. But you know what? Who expected 9/11 to hit 2 buildings?
Yes.
So you never know.
Yes.
So number one, expect everything. Number two, do your homework. Number three, surround yourself with people who you can really trust and share this kind of information. You see, the thing that's amazing is that people, take so much. When you're doing an investment, it's not like buying a car or buying a furniture. You go there, it's impulsive buying. You go, it's a nice looking car. You check the price. If the price is okay, you buy it. When you do an investment, this is not the same story at all. There are a lot of dynamics behind it. And number one, also look always at the management. Who is really running these companies? Look at the guys who are running Enron. You know what? And Weber, Enron is a big company, but nobody really did his homework at who are these people. It's the management, people. In everything you do. In every transactions you get involved in, it's people. It's also to come back to the point I said earlier, it's intelligence, gathering the intel. You have to consider yourself as a CIA analyst who does your homework on those very important career decisions, investment decisions, and life decisions. Because at the end of the day, nobody gives a rat's ass about you. Not government, not anyone. Barely your family, and you're very close.
I love it. Barely. That's it. Barely your family. It's true.
You never know. I mean, look, some guys are blessed with a great family.
Yes.
But a lot of people, have, today the family. What family?
Yes.
I mean, there's broken, divorced, fights, feuds, you name it.
Yes.
Barely your that's why I said barely your family. So nobody cares. So you have to really take care of yourself. You have to take care of your brand. You have to take care of your loved ones. And you have to stay healthy. Live long. The longer you live, the more you're going to make money.
Yes. You actually have a section, a little chapter in your book talking about health, which I was surprised.
Yeah.
It's a money book, but it's talking about drinking water and taking care of yourself.
You have to remain very healthy. Look, listen, basically what will drain you is health issues, divorce issues, debt issues. This is what drains you. If you can stay away from these things, I mean, you'll be really fine.
It makes a lot of sense. It's almost it sounds so simple, and it's like
it is so simple, but people they complicate it down with their things. It is very simple. Seriously, people complicate it with their lives. It's like it's not. My father always used to tell me, look, there are two things. Sometimes I get upset of this and that. When I was much younger. Listen. There are two things that matter really. Three things really. Number one, your health. You're very healthy. Number two, your money, the pocket. You're making good money, so you shouldn't really worry about. And number three, your loved one, your things. They love you. They support you. That's what matters.
Yes.
What if it's raining, or if it's snowing, or if you missed a plane? Who cares a damn about that? People get frustrated on the smallest little thing, and then they wonder why they have all these diseases.
Yes.
Diabetes, cancer, ulcer, all this stuff because of stress. They cannot manage their stress. Everything stresses them. Then they go on TV. They say, they said the wrong word. People offended. It's becoming. Hey, you have to be able to insulate yourself from all the shit out there.
I think, I was going to ask you one last question, but I think you already answered perfectly right there. It truly is the money, your health, and your family, your relationship. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
And I mean, look, it's an attitude. You have to have the right attitude. Look, I mean, look, whatever your problem is, there are people who have bigger problems. So that's how I look at it. So if you look at it this way, it's an attitude. I think people live longer because they have the right attitude. It's not just because of the genes, etc. Yes, it has to play a part. It's an attitude. With the right attitude, you can win every time. You can live longer. You can enjoy life much more. And but also you have to be very aware. Look, a lot of people walk through life like zombies.
Yes.
Honestly, they don't know where they're going, why they're doing this. They're so lost and confused. And they think, let's say, by having some joint or marijuana or drinking more,
smoking more, whatever.
Smoking more, they're going to forget about this. In fact, they don't. They are digging themselves further in the hole. You don't get out of it. You know what? And it's at the end of the day, it's all habits also. Like they say, old habits die hard. You have an old habit, you're going to keep doing it and digging your hole even more. Start doing the right habit, you're going to be on the right path. It's tough at the beginning, it's frustrating, just do it, crush it, and then it will become a good habit. Life is very simple, but people today make it so complicated. Everything is so complicated, so regulated, so, politically correct. So, you know what? We're not robots. We're human beings with feelings. We all make mistakes. We should learn from our mistakes. We all should pretty much empower each other, help each other to the right path. None of us is perfect. That's life. At the end of the day, what impact have you left? And, on society and everything. This is really what matters.
Fantastic. See, if for our listeners, let's say they want to get in touch with you, or they've got a deal, they meet all those five criteria. If they don't even waste your time. But if they do meet those 5 criteria, what's the best way to maybe get in touch with your company?
The best way is to go to blackhawkpartners.com, www.blackhawkpartners.com.
And for your book, they could just go to Amazon. That's why I got my book from Amazon.com.
My book, they can go to Amazon.com and type Economic Warfare or my name, Ziad Abdelnour, and they see the book. They can order the book on Amazon. I think it's very much available there.
Yes, it's awesome. I mean, it's a great read, as I share with you. I mean, it's a book that you would need to read multiple times.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Ziad, thank you so much for inspiring us today with your just amazing story, your ideas, and your bluntness. I appreciate that.
Why not?
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dan.
Well, I can see we are out of time. Now, as we wrap things up, just as a reminder that if there is anything Ziad mentioned that you missed, that we do take all the notes for you, and you'll find them for this episode at shouldersoftitans.com. Now, while you're there, I also invite you to subscribe to the Shoulders of Titans podcast to be alerted to weekly episodes at shouldersoftitans.com/subscribe. Now, can you think of someone who would benefit from what we've covered here today? They'll thank you for forwarding this episode on to them. And if you haven't done so already, please leave us a review in iTunes. It helps us to let other people discover the show and helps us to be better seen in iTunes. You can do so at shouldersoftitans.com/iTunes.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Shoulders of Titans Show with Dan the Man Lock. Be sure to check out shouldersoftitans.com to access other episodes, knowing that just one good idea, an offhand remark, a quip, a story of seemingly unrelated success could be worth millions if applied. Visit shouldersoftitans.com to subscribe, and when you do, you'll receive a free gift from Dan.